Hello, this is Catherine ASMR, and today I'm going to be reading some poems by William Wordsworth. And I got this beautiful anthology in the Lake District when I went to William Wordsworth's house, and it was beautiful. Both the house, the Lake District, and the book. So I bought the book. And yeah, so it's just a collection of his best works. So anyone who knows anything about Wordsworth will know that he wrote a lot of poems about nature, and a lot of them, most of them, were inspired by the Lake District, which is also one of my favourite, if not my favourite place in the world. So let's begin. Was it for this that one the fairest of all rivers loved to blend his murmurs with my nurse's song, and from his alder shades and rocky falls, and from his fords and shallows sent a voice that flowed along my dreams? For this didst thou, O Derwent, travelling over the green plains near my sweet birthplace, didst thou, beauteous dream, make ceaseless music through the night and day, with which its steady cadence tempering our human waywardness, compose my thoughts to more than infant softness, giving me, among the fretful dwellings of mankind, a knowledge of dim earnest of the calm which nature breathes among the hills and groves. When, having left his mountains to the towers of Cockermouth, that beauteous river came, behind my father's house he passed close by, along the margin of our terrace walk. He was a playmate whom we dearly loved. Oh, many a time have I, a 5 years' child, a naked boy in one delightful rill, a little mill race severed from his stream, made one long bathing of a summer's day, basked in the sun and plunged, and basked again, alternate, all the summer's day, or coursed over the sandy fields, leaping through the groves of yellow grundsel, or when crag and hill, the woods and distant Skiddaw's lofty height, were bronzed with a deep radiance, stood alone beneath the sky, as if I had been born on Indian plains, and from my mother's hut had run abroad in wantonness to sport, a naked savage in the thunder shower. That was playing in the River Derwent, which is one of the lakes, the many lakes of the Lake District. This one is called The Raven's Nest. Nor less in springtime, when on southern banks the shining sun had from his knot of leaves decoyed the primrose flower, and when the vales and woods were warm, was I a plunderer then in the high places, on the lonesome peaks, wherever among the mountains and the winds the mother bird has built her lodge. Though mean my object and inglorious, yet the end was not ignoble. Oh, when I have hung above the raven's nest by knots of grass and half-inch fissures in the slippery rock, but ill-sustained and almost, as it seemed, suspended by the blast which blew amain, shouldering the naked crack, oh, at that time, while on the perilous ridge I hung alone. With what strange utterance did the loud dry wind blow through my ears? The sky seemed not a sky of earth, and with what motion moved the clouds? There are in our existence spots of time which with distinct preeminence retain a renovating virtue, whence depressed by false opinion and contentious thought, or aught of heavier and more deadly weight in trivial occupations, and the round of ordinary intercourse our minds are nourished and invisibly repaired. A virtue by which pleasure is enhanced, that penetrates, enables us to mount when high, more high, and lifts us up when fallen. This efficacious spirit chiefly lurks among those passages of life in which we have had deepest feeling that the mind is lord and master, and that outward sense is but the obedient servant of her will. Such moments worthy of all gratitude are scattered everywhere, taking their date from our first childhood, in our childhood even perhaps our most conspicuous. Life with me, as far back as memory can look back, is full of this beneficent influence. Up, up, my friend, and clear your looks. Why all this toil and trouble? Up, up, my friend, and quit your books, or surely you'll grow double. The sun above the mountain's head, a freshening lustre mellow, through all the long green fields has spread his first sweet evening yellow. Books, 'tis a dull and endless strife. Come, hear the woodland linnet, how sweet his music on my life, there's more of wisdom in it. And hark how blithe the throstle sings, and he is no mean preacher. Come forth into the light of things, let nature be your teacher. She has a world of ready wealth, our minds and hearts to bless, spontaneous wisdom breathed by health, truth breathed by cheerfulness. One impulse from a vernal wood may teach you more of man, of moral evil and of good, than all the sages can. Sweet is the law which nature brings, our meddling intellect misshapes the beauteous form of things we murder to dissect. Enough of science and of art, close up these barren leaves, come forth and bring with you a heart that watches and receives. That one was called The Tables Turned. This is Strange Fits of Passion I Have Known. Strange fits of passion I have known, and I will dare to tell, but in the lover's ear alone, what once to me befell. When she I loved was strong and gay, and like a rose in June, I to her cottage bent my way beneath the evening moon. Upon the moon I fixed my eye all over the wide lea. My horse trudged on, and we drew nigh those paths so dear to me. And now we reached the orchard plot, and as we climbed the hill, towards the roof of Lucy's cot, the moon descended still. In one of those sweet dreams I slept, kind nature's gentlest boon, and all the while my eyes I kept on the descending moon. My horse moved on, hoof after hoof, he raised and never stopped, when down behind the cottage roof at once the planet dropped. What fond and wayward thoughts will slide into a lover's head? Oh mercy, to myself I cried, if Lucy should be dead. This poem is called To a Butterfly, and this is the first of two poems with this name that I'm going to read. The next one will be coming later. Stay near me, do not take thy flight, a little longer stay in sight. Much converse do I find in thee, historian of my infancy. Float near me, do not yet depart, dead times revive in thee. Thou bring'st, gay creature, as thou art, a solemn image to my heart, my father's family. Oh, pleasant, pleasant were the days, this time when in our childish plays, my sister Emmeline and I together chased the butterfly. A very hunter did I rush upon the prey with leaps and springs. I followed on from brake to bush, but she, God love her, feared to brush the dust from off its wings. This is the next To a Butterfly poem. I've watched you now a full half hour, self-poised upon that yellow flower, and little butterfly, indeed, I know not if you sleep or feed. How motionless, not frozen seas, more motionless, and then what joy awaits you when the breeze hath found you out among the trees and calls you forth again. This plot of orchard ground is ours, my trees they are, my sister's flowers. Stop here whenever you are weary, and rest as in a sanctuary. Come often to us, fear no wrong, sit near us on the bough. We'll talk of sunshine and of song, and summer days when we were young, sweet childish days that were as long as 20 days are now. There was a roaring in the wind all night. The rain came heavily and fell in floods. But now the sun is rising calm and bright. The birds are singing in the distant woods. Over his own sweet voice the stock-dove broods. The jay makes answer as the magpie chatters, and all the air is filled with pleasant noise of waters. All things that love the sun are out of doors. The sky rejoices in the morning's birth. The grass is bright with raindrops on the moors. The hare is running races in her mirth, and with her feet she from the plashy earth raises a mist which, glittering in the sun, runs with her all the way wherever she doth run. I was a traveller then upon the moor. I saw the hare that raced about with joy. I heard the woods and distant waters roar, or heard them not, as happy as a boy. The pleasant season did my heart employ, my old remembrances went from me wholly, and all the ways of men so vain and melancholy. But as it sometimes chanceth, from the might of joy in minds that can no further go. As high as we have mounted in delight, in our dejection do we sink as low. To me that morning did it happen so, and fears and fancies thick upon me came, dim sadness and blind thoughts I knew not nor could name. I heard the skylark singing in the sky, and I bethought me of the playful hare. Even such a happy child of earth am I, even as these blissful creatures do I fare. Far from the world I walk and from all care, but there may come another day to me, solitude, pain of heart, distress, and poverty. My whole life I have lived in pleasant thought, as if life's business were a summer mood, as if all needful things would come unsought, to genial faith still rich in genial good. But how can he expect that others should build for him, sow for him, and at his call love him, who for himself will take no heed at all? I thought of Chatterton, the marvellous boy, the sleepless soul that perished in its pride, of him who walked in glory and in joy, behind his plough upon the mountainside. By our own spirits are we defied. We poets in our youth begin in gladness, but thereof comes in the end despondency and madness. Now, whether it were by peculiar grace, a leading from above, a something given, yet it befell that in this lonely place, when up and down my fancy thus was driven, and I with these untoward thoughts had striven, I saw a man before me unawares, the oldest man he seemed that ever wore grey hairs. My course I stopped as soon as I espied the old man in that naked wilderness. Close by a pond upon the further side, he stood alone, a minute's space I guess. I watched him, he continuing motionless, to the pool's further margin then I drew, he being all the while before me in full view. As a huge stone is sometimes seen to lie, couched on the bald top of an eminence, wonder to all who do the same espy, by what means it could thither come, and whence, so that it seems a thing endued with sense, like a sea beast crawled forth, which on a shelf of rock or sand reposeth, there to sun itself. Such seemed this man, not all alive or dead, nor all asleep in his extreme old age. His body was bent double, feet and head coming together in their pilgrimage, as if some dire constraint of pain or rage, of sickness felt by him in times long past, a more than human weight upon his frame had cast. Himself he propped, his body, limbs, and face, upon a long grey staff of shaven wood, and still, as I drew near with gentle pace, beside the little pond or moorish flood, motionless as a cloud the old man stood, that heareth not the loud winds when they call, and moveth altogether if it moves at all. At length himself unsettling, he the pond stirred with his staff, and fixedly did look upon the muddy water, which he conned, as if he had been reading in a book. And now such freedom as I could I took, and drawing to his side to him did say, this morning gives us promise of a glorious day. A gentle answer did the old man make, in courteous speech, which forth he slowly drew, and him with further words I thus bespake, what kind of work is that which you pursue? This is a lonesome place for one like you. He answered me with pleasure and surprise, and there was, while he spake, a fire about his eyes. His words came feebly from a feeble chest, yet each in solemn order followed each, with something of a lofty utterance dressed, choice word and measured phrase, above the reach of ordinary men, a stately speech, such as grave livers do in Scotland use. religious men who give to God and man their dues. He told me that he to this pond had come to gather leeches, being old and poor, employment hazardous and wearisome, and he had many hardships to endure. From pond to pond he roamed, from moor to moor, housing with God's good help by choice or chance, and in this way he gained an honest maintenance. The old man still stood talking by my side, but now his voice to me was like a stream, scarce heard, nor word from word could I divide, and the whole body of the man did seem like one whom I had met with in a dream, or like a man from some far region sent to give me human strength and strong admonishment. My former thoughts returned, the fear that kills, the hope that is unwilling to be fed, cold, pain and labour and all fleshly ills, and mighty poets in their misery dead. And now, not knowing what the old man had said, my question eagerly did I renew, how is it that you live, and what is it that you do? He with a smile did then his words repeat, and said that, gathering leeches far and wide, he travelled, stirring thus about his feet the waters of the ponds where they abide. Once I could meet with them on every side, but they have dwindled long by slow decay, yet still I persevere and find them where I may. While he was talking thus, the lonely place, the old man's shape and speech all troubled me. In my mind's eye I seemed to see him pace about the weary moors continually, wandering about alone and silently. While I these thoughts within myself pursued, he, having made a pause, the same discourse renewed. And soon with this he other matter blended, cheerfully uttered, with demeanour kind, but stately in the main, and when ended, I could have laughed myself to scorn to find in that decrepit man so firm a mind. God, said I, be my help and stay secure. I'll think of the leech gatherer on the lonely moor. The world is too much with us, late and soon. Getting and spending we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon, this sea that bears her bosom to the moon, the winds that will be howling at all hours, and are upgathered now like sleeping flowers. For this, for everything we are out of tune. It moves us not, great God, I'd rather be a pagan suckled in a creed outworn. So might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn, have sight of Proteus coming from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn. She was a phantom of delight, when first she gleamed upon my sight, a lovely apparition sent to be a moment's ornament. Her eyes are stars of twilight fair, like twilight's too her dusky hair, but all things else about her drawn from Maytime and the cheerful dawn. A dancing shape, an image gay, to haunt, to startle, and waylay. I saw her upon nearer view, a spirit, yet a woman too, her household motions light and free, and steps of virgin liberty. A countenance in which did meet sweet records promises as sweet, a creature not too bright or good for human nature's daily food, for transient sorrows, simple wiles, praise, blame, love, kisses, tears, and smiles. And now we're going for his most famous. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of dancing daffodils. Along the lake, beneath the trees, 10,000 dancing in the breeze. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such laughing company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the shoe to me had brought, for oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances